there, Gemini, and welcome to your April 2020 Creativity Tarot reading. My name is Kayleigh Jean, and welcome to my channel. I record these readings for artists, entrepreneurs, and anybody who is interested in their personal growth, self-expression, or spirituality in any form. So if those areas of life are important for you right now, go ahead and keep watching. I also want to say really quickly that you can use these readings for your sun, moon, or your rising sign, and it's also possible that sometimes none of them resonate, or it may be that they resonate later on in the month. So I encourage you to go ahead and come back to this video if you want to explore the potential connections there. Okay, Gemini, let's get into your messages from the meditation. So I had a really strong feeling coming through of kind of, I don't know if some of you are like concerned about the actions of another person, or if there's a situation in your life that you have some kind of hopefulness about, but it requires the participation of a third party. I'm not sure, like, you know, what that would be, but I was getting this impression of like 2 or 3 people trying to kind of get something done, but it's like they need a 4th person, or 2 people but they need a 3rd person. So there could be like a potential, I don't want to say like match being made, because I mean, that sounds kind of more along the lines of like relationships, which maybe for someone out there it is, but I more feel like there's something that you're kind of hoping for, either like an agreement on or contract on within your work or your career, or your creativity in some way, that is going to be sort of perfected or completed by another person. And I feel like that help is going to come through for you, Gemini. I feel like there's, particularly, I'm feeling more of like a female energy around this. I'm not really sure why, but I feel the energy of like a helpful 3rd person, possibly a woman, coming into a situation and helping you complete some sort of project, or helping you get the details nailed down, maybe of a contract, or maybe if you're trying to apply for a loan or something like that, maybe you need somebody to co-sign, or you need someone to kind of step in and help the process along. I'm not really sure. I feel like this is going to be relevant to each of you in your own unique way, but I do get the sense of help coming through to perfect or complete a matter that is very important to you, Gemini. So that's the initial kind of message that I'm getting. I also want to say that just spiritually and emotionally for you, I feel like there is a very strong energy of healing and a very strong energy of releasing some kind of I want to say like a negative habit or pattern internally that you've had going on. I see you almost kind of releasing that back into kind of like the quantum field, if that makes sense. Like, I was getting this impression of someone just kind of unburdening themselves of this kind of heavier energy of like a blockage, and then I see them kind of just like, whew, like it like leaves them like a dark cloud kind of just washing off of them. So this could be related to the previous situation where I mentioned the 3rd person kind of coming in, or 4th person coming in and perfecting a situation for you, or helping you finish something. Maybe you're afraid that that person won't be there, or maybe you're afraid that that situation for some reason is rocky. I'm not really sure if it's related, or if it's kind of its own separate thing that has to do with your own emotional relationship with your life. But in general, I do get the sense that there's like this kind of like releasing of negativity that's going on in your life. And I think that concurrently, at the same time, you're recognizing that you're more supported by others in your life, and also by the universe and your life in general. You're more supported than you thought you were, Gemini. And I think that this is going to give you some courage and some sense of trust in yourself to maybe take bigger actions, or maybe bigger risks down the road. Maybe not necessarily right now, but I can feel your energy kind of going, okay, you know what, now that I know that I have this support, or now that I know that, you know, the universe is kind of backing me up, or now that I know that these people, you know, have this particular perspective, which is, you know, what I was hoping for. It's like now that the situation is making more sense to you, you're starting to kind of conceptualize what it would look like to take bigger risks in the future. And you're starting to kind of take those maybe baby steps towards maybe like a much bigger step. And I think that all of this is very much working out in your best interest. So those were the meditation messages. Let's take a look. There's a lot in there, but let's look at your cards and see what else we get. Gemini, Gemini. Okay, I was just seeing something about a classroom, like a, almost like a kindergarten classroom. So I don't know if this is like symbolic for someone, if you have kids that age, maybe it's more literal, but I see something about a classroom. Okay, and we're also going to get a message from the Bob Ross Oracle deck, because I just feel this deck has so much love and so much of his beautiful spirit is able to come through in these readings, and it's such an honor to be working with this deck. So message for Gemini from Bob Ross. Okay, let's take a look. Wow, so we've got elephant, which is lovely, and cheetah. I wonder if somebody can let me know in the comments if you guys got elephant sometime recently, because I feel like you have. But really, like, this is an absolutely gorgeous draw. And it's interesting because we have so much going on, you know, globally with the coronavirus and all of this, you know, economic impact and uncertainty and all of these things going on. But your cards, Gemini, are very much focused on your journey, and there's actually a lot opening up for you. It's kind of interesting how varied and rich the experience that we may be having is, you know, on the planet. Like, there's, at any given moment, there is a full spectrum of things going on. And for you, you know, with the elephant card as your path, this actually is a time where it appears that, you know, obstacles that have blocked your path are being removed with the elephant card. Elephants are notorious for being able to, you know, if they're trying to go on a certain path and there's a big tree in the way or a big log or some kind of obstruction, they are able to just kind of grasp it with their trunk and their, what are these things called? Their tusks. I sometimes when I'm channeling, I just like get so quick and then I get stuck on a word, but their tusks, and they're able to just kind of like push things aside like so easily. And I feel that this is really that message. It's related to that message coming through in the meditation about somebody in the situation being able to effectively step in and perfect or complete something for you or with you. That really does represent the energy of like an obstacle to your progress being removed. So something also very lucky, something fortunate coming your way with the elephant card showing your path. This is a time to walk steadily within yourself, Gemini. This is a time to really trust yourself. This is a time as well to, I also hear like kind of nourish the fire within you, because you have two fire creatures. So the cheetah is the influencing energy, which means that there's actually a lot going on. And that's to be expected given what's going on culturally and globally and economically right now. But for you, I feel like this also has a lot to do with your personal traction as a creative person, your traction in your career or in how you express yourself. I see you being very expressive with these cards. I see you being very bright, burning bright with these fire cards here. And I think that this is actually going to be a really productive time for you, Gemini. So definitely go for your goals. And I think that you're going to see a lot opening up for you. Now let's take a look at your tarot cards and we'll get some more information. So we've got Four of Swords, Chariot, Death, and Five of Swords. We've got Wheel of Fortune, Eight of Wands, Justice, and the Nine of Cups. Beautiful. So April for Gemini. So in the first week of April, I see some kind of a shift around like your energy. So if you've been feeling kind of, I guess I want to say with the Four of Swords, like there's an energy, there can be an energy of, on like the more positive end of the spectrum, like a little bit of kind of feeling relaxed and trusting. On the other end, we could say almost like idle in a way, like idle or kind of just, praying for improvement because his hands are in the prayer position, praying for improvement, but not really taking a lot of action because maybe that wasn't what you're meant to be doing in regards to whatever is going on in your life, in your community, in your environment. There's a sense of like really being at peace within yourself, but not necessarily being like the one who's kind of making big changes, maybe because you need time to absorb everything that's going on, and you are also in a place of being like very like wanting to be very tuned in spiritually before you do anything, right? Like this Four of Swords represents a knight. He could be coming back from battle or he could be preparing to go out to battle, but either way, looking at this card, it's like they're kind of centering themselves. They are being in a place of gratitude. They are being in a place of oneness with the divine. And there's like this energy of non-action around that in the beginning of the month. But then as we go deeper into the month with this full moon happening on April 8th, which is like kind of separating these 2 weeks right here, we get the energy of the Chariot kind of coming in. So when I looked at this at first, I kind of heard that song in my head, that song, it's Bob Marley, where he says like, get up, stand up. I feel like there's something going on where it's like, get up, stand up. Like you're getting up, you're getting into gear. You're getting into gear and you're sort of initiating something between the first and the second week of April. Now, that full moon in Libra is happening in your 5th house. I would also add that Venus will have just entered your sign and she'll be at like 2 or 3 degrees of Gemini at that time of that full moon in Libra, which is in trine. It's harmonious to your energy, and it's symbolically placed in your 5th house of creativity, in your 5th house of fun, recreation, also self-employment and autonomy when it comes to career and sort of living, if you're an artist or if you are a designer or if you do, things of that nature. That 5th house is going to be very, very important and prominent in any kind of transit activity. So seeing this full moon in Libra in a positive aspect with Venus having just entered your sign, I feel like there's some big changes that you're ready to initiate in the first half of April. I think that you are, especially with the Death card next to the Five of Swords, it's like you could be realizing that there's potential for you. There's better potential for you in something else. There's some kind of creative new path opening up in your life. And I think that because you are sensing the validity of that, remember how I talked about, you feeling more courageous because you understand that you're supported? I think that energy really comes in, and that's why we see this, energy of the chariot, like the charioteer, moving into the death card, which is a card of motion, right? We have the horse moving. Here we have the chariot, like initiating the action. So you are moving yourself into the death experience and then into the Five of Swords as well, which is kind of separation from the past or from something that is about to become part of your past. Some of you could be deciding to officially leave a job with the Five of Swords, and you might feel kind of bad for doing that. You might feel like sometimes with the Five of Swords, especially if it comes up for a very sensitive person, the Five of Swords can represent kind of feeling like a jerk for setting boundaries, but at the same time, that you have to just set those boundaries because otherwise, well, you don't have a choice because the death card's here. So when the death card is present, it really means that we don't, our choices are fairly limited. We don't have the ability to control everything when the death energy is present. Again, it's not physical death. It's more like a sense of finality and acceptance of things that we don't have control over, frees us up to focus on the things that we actually can influence. And so for you, I think that's really what your focus is on, is like, all right, I can't control what's going on here, but I can focus on what I think is the best path for me. And I trust that I am supported in that. So definitely the potential in the second week of April for some difficult decisions to be made, and a lot of change, following that with the Wheel of Fortune and the Eight of Wands. I see the potential for a lot of change. The wheel is turning, and when we look at the Eight of Wands energy, we see that they haven't landed yet, but they're sort of aiming at the earth. So there is, by the third week of April, I think this sense of a lot being up in the air for you. And I think that there's also a sense of a lot of synchronicity surrounding you. So you're probably recognizing, little hints and clues coming to you spiritually, or, just little maybe numbers that you see repeatedly, or cards that keep coming up in your own readings, or, just any of the above and more, that you're looking at them and you're like, okay, you know what? I feel kind of ungrounded right now. I feel kind of uncertain, but I know that my life is reassuring me that I'm on the right track. And that you actually are, even though the energy is like in the wheel, it's kind of circulating and it's sort of moving in this unpredictable way. The Eight of Wands is saying that, as long as you are focused on what you want to create, Gemini, then this energy is not going to be able to disperse that focus that you have. So when the winds of change are blowing in our life, it becomes even more kind of important for us to be really focused on our bottom line. And that's going to be unique to each individual, what that bottom line really is, what we really care about, and what we're prioritizing. So be really clear in that third week of April, especially if you feel like a lot is changing. Have something that kind of recenters you, like a mantra or a meditation practice, or something that kind of brings you back into the present and allows you to, be very focused in terms of your priorities. By the end of April, we've got some really amazing energy. So Justice and the Nine of Cups. Off the top of my head, what's coming through, because Justice is a card of contracts and agreements, and the Nine of Cups is like a card of kind of wishes coming true. I almost feel like some of you could be getting a contract signed, maybe a work contract, which gives you some degree of certainty in what for many people is an uncertain time right now economically. You could be achieving some kind of goal when it comes to, maybe you've been doing kind of more parceled out labor, or you've been working as kind of like a free, not a free agent, but what's the word? what's the word for that, guys? Like you're kind of a freelancer and then you get like a long-term job contract, or you are you have some kind of agreement that you can sort of take it to the bank. It's something you can rely on. It's something that gives you a degree of certainty. And it's what you've been hoping for. And that actually really does spook me out now that I'm saying that, because I remember in the meditation, I said something about a third party coming in and helping you finalize a contract. So if that message resonated to you, Gemini, if that message made sense, by the end of the month of April, you could be coming into the agreement that you've been searching for, and you could be getting clarity as well on like all the ins and outs of that agreement and what kind of things you're going to be responsible for and how all that is going to work out. But I do see you being really happy about it. I think that this is something with justice. It's going to have to be an equal trade. Obviously, like you don't want it to be completely one-sided, or you don't want it to be something that has instability kind of written all over it from the beginning. But if this is an agreement, it could be a verbal agreement even. It doesn't necessarily have to be a big signed contract or the sale of a home or something along those lines. It could be any number of things that kind of binds you or gives you security within a situation. Be sure that you are like really accurately representing yourself in the matter, and be sure that you are willing to uphold your end of it. And I think that this is going to work out really, really, really well. This is also the card associated with Libra, and we had that Libra full moon. So the whole month of April, because the Libra full moon's in the beginning of the month, so the whole month of April could be characterized for you kind of by this like question of, okay, when is this contract going to come through, or when is this agreement going to be made? That could be something that is like a theme throughout the month. But I think that by the end of the month, you should be seeing some really amazing growth. You should be seeing some really great supportive agreements that you're coming to with others. Okay, so your message from Bob Ross is, let's make some nice little clouds that just float around and have fun all day. Let's make some nice little clouds that just float around and have fun all day. I really love this because I think that with the seriousness of everything that's going on right now, it's easy to kind of forget to just step outside and take a breath. It's easy to forget that, that we are incredibly blessed, and that we also should realistically, if we are in a position, to take some of this time where we have maybe more social distancing, isolation, being at home more often or working less. If we are in that situation, making sure that we're like really doing the things that we say we want to do for ourselves more often, but that we say that we don't have time to do when we have our normal routines. So this is about really having fun and giving yourself some time to just kind of, I'm almost seeing someone kind of laying back in the grass and just looking up at the clouds, and how kind of fun that was when you were little and you did that and you just looked at shapes in the clouds. Just really like recognizing that, like stargazing or cloud gazing, and just having that time where you're just kind of watching the world and listening to the world, and not in front of a screen, not sharing about it on social media. You're having your private moment with the universe. And I think it's really important that you still get to do that this month, Gemini, even though you will have so much of your own personal momentum that is still going strong in spite of all of the events of the world. This is also really important for you, this message of making sure that you have enough leisure time to just kind of sit and watch the clouds, So that is your message, Gemini. I hope this reading has been helpful. Please let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts you would like to share. I would absolutely love to hear from you in comments, even just an emoji or a thumbs up. Really let me know that you're still with me and it supports this channel's growth in the YouTube algorithm. So if you got something useful and you want to say thank you, leave me a comment, give this video a thumbs up, share it with a friend. Those things go so far to letting me know that you are engaging with the readings and that you get something useful out of them. You can also donate. I will put the information on donating below. Even just $1 is so incredibly helpful. Also, I want to really quickly mention the April Fool's Journey Tarot Challenge, which is going on starting April 1st, April Fool's Day. It's free, and it's just a way for us to explore the major arcana and the new journey that's opening up for each of us in our lives. So I will put all that information below. Again, totally free. I'll be going live, answering questions, and chatting with you guys about the cards in it as well. So follow me on Instagram if you would like to participate or follow along. I hope you have an amazing month in April. Stay safe, Gemini, be blessed, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.